this was the winter of 2012. My sister Dipti and I went for the Chadar trek or the frozen river trek in Ladakh in January. I still remember asking Jayesh how cold is it, and he had told us the temperatures during the day would be -5 to 5 degrees, and it could go down as low as -40 degrees at night. Every day we would stop trekking at around 4 p.m. just before the sun was to set. And while I still remember those breathtaking views of the valley and the river, there's one thing that has stayed with me even after 10 years. Every day when we would stop trekking, Jayesh would make sure to remind us to change our socks, even if they were not damp or moist. Before Kosha, I remember showing customers woolen socks, and I remember their feedback. They had this dilemma that either the shoe would feel too tight because the socks were thick, or they had this worry that they would have to wear a shoe size larger. Keeping this in mind, and also my experiences told me that there is a need to develop something new in the socks category. I remember meeting you at a cafe, and you had brought all the varieties of socks that you have. We asked you so many questions. We, even turned the socks inside out to study the features, understand the different the places where they had applied cushioning, the durability, and so on. So when we were designing the socks, there were three things which were really important. The first thing, as a mountaineer, as a traveler, or even somebody who's just relaxing at home in winters, is for the garment to be really lightweight. That's why we wanted the socks to be thin. The other aspect is comfort. At no point in time can you compromise on comfort. And that's where we incorporated cushion on the pressure points of the feet to reduce fatigue. This also doubles up as a buffer when we are climbing downhill. And you taught me this again, that when the toe hits against the shoe, you need a shock absorber, so that your toe doesn't hurt and you can continue walking. The third important feature, definitely you don't want your socks to smell. When we are in the mountains, sometimes we wear our socks for more than a day without changing. We'll remove it, we'll dry it, and then we wear it the next day. That's really important. So we incorporated a breathable mesh within the sock design so that it wicks away sweat faster and it does not smell.
It's so important that you don't realize that when people are looking for socks, the last thing they forget is, or the first thing they forget is the size of the shoe, because they'll end up wearing a thick socks, and actually it's counter intuitive that you wear a thick socks and the shoe size remains the same, and that kind of contracts your feet, reducing the blood circulation and causing the same effect that the socks is going to save you from.
Right.
So it's so important that you have a lightweight socks, thin, or else buy your socks first and then buy your shoes. Yeah, always that margin always helps. The ability to move your toes within your shoes is so important. Extra bit of space is very, very important also. I still remember you taking a few of those sock samples from me and taking back, and you probably would have even loved to pull them apart and see what it is made of. But yeah, once you had the design in place, once you had the concept in place, and you knew what next steps or how you can go about making this sock, what did you actually end up doing? What were your next steps towards getting the socks out in the market or getting it to the customers?
So one of the important things in winter wear is wearing, and that's applicable even for our feet. That's why we have two designs in place. One was a classic liner sock, which can be worn by itself as well, and the other was is the technical socks with all the features. We identified merino wool as the fabric because of its fabulous properties, And also because we wanted to stay away from nylon and polyester as they are not environmentally friendly. Once we had that identified, we developed samples using the most advanced technology in manufacturing at that point in time. After multiple trials, the samples had come to office, and I remember they were finally looking good and they felt good. Kundal Joshi was leaving for his summit to Everest that evening, and while he, did not wear wool since he's a vegan, he kindly offered one of his friends who was climbing with him to test our socks. And we did not have BFAST and Dunzo at that time, but we still managed to somehow send him the samples before he left, just in the nick of time. And we got some very good feedback. His friend climbed till Camp 2, which is 6,400 meters. And post multiple tests within the community, we officially introduced the socks at the stores and online.
In 2019, I comfortably wear the Kosha socks at base camp and at camp here as well. And I must say they were quite comfortable to sleep in as well. So I think this whole idea about trying to factor in the socks as a liner is a very good idea, because no matter what you wear over that, once your liner socks is comfortable, then you know that your feet are going to be safe and warm. Yeah.
It's really an honor and a pleasure.
We actually used it. I've actually used some of your socks, some of the Kosha socks, even for cycling tours. And when you go to these cold winter places, I cycled in Kosha socks when I was in Iceland. I think I offered it to one of my friends, and they were very happy that even for a long cycle ride, on a demanding cycle ride in such a cold place, you still didn't get blisters or you didn't feel cold in your feet. And that's my recommendation to you. Get some good colors, make them a little longer, and you have the cyclist community going for your socks as well. So they're doing a lot of trips abroad and a lot of trips in the colder regions as well.
I was just going to ask you if there are a few things that you can tell us, how can we enhance or make our socks better? What would that be?
Like I just mentioned, I would want it a little longer than what it is right now, because then if I'm not doing a very demanding expedition, if I want to wear multiple socks and still be comfortable, and I really don't want to wear technical socks, there are summits which are about 5,800 meters, 6,000 meters sometimes, that may not be that demandingly cold, and you still want that comfort. Then you can use a little longer socks, that's one thing. Cycling is another domain, because I don't know whether you've seen cyclists wear an overshoe that's fine from the wind factor, but inside the shoe, if you have a socks which is comfortable, and they like colors a lot, and colorful, I think will be a good hit among the people who want to be cycling in colder climates. I mean, there are people who are right now cycling in Europe, they're cycling in Ladakh, they're cycling in Spiti Valley. Why only that? I mean, sometimes even around Bombay in winters when people cycle, sometimes they want to keep their feet warm. So the liner socks could work very well, but color.
Absolutely. Take in that feedback, and we will get those soon in the seasons to come.
Check our technical socks at www.kosha.co.